the silence in the Navy SEAL training facility was deafening. 23 hardened warriors, men who had survived the most brutal military training on Earth, stood frozen as they watched a woman in uniform walk through their sacred halls. Their smirks quickly faded when they realized this wasn't just any woman. This was someone who would rewrite everything they thought they knew about leadership, courage, and what it truly means to serve your country. What happened next would become the most talked about moment in modern military history. A story that would challenge every assumption about gender, power, and respect in the armed forces. This is the true story of how one woman's journey from mockery to mastery would inspire millions and change the face of the US Navy forever. Sarah Mitchell never imagined that her childhood dreams of sailing would one day lead her to become one of the most respected leaders in the United States Navy. Growing up in a small coastal town in Maine, she spent countless hours watching ships disappear into the horizon, wondering what adventures lay beyond the endless blue waters. Her father, a commercial fisherman, often told her stories about the brave sailors who protected American waters. These tales sparked something deep within Sarah's heart. While other girls her age played with dolls, she built model ships and studied maritime history. Her bedroom walls were covered with pictures of famous naval vessels and maps of the world's oceans. The first sign of Sarah's exceptional character emerged during her high school years. When Hurricane Isabel struck their town, causing massive flooding and damage, 17-year-old Sarah organized her classmates to help with rescue efforts. She coordinated food distribution, helped evacuate elderly residents, and even learned to operate emergency radio equipment. Local authorities were amazed by her natural leadership abilities and calm demeanor under pressure. Her guidance counselor, Mrs. Cassatena Thompson, noticed Sarah's unique qualities and suggested she consider the Naval Academy. At first, Sarah laughed off the idea. Women in combat roles were still facing significant barriers, and the thought of competing with the nation's top male recruits seemed impossible. But Mrs. Patrick Thompson persisted, sharing stories of trailblazing women who had broken barriers in military service. The application process proved grueling. Sarah had to maintain perfect grades while participating in varsity swimming and student government. She woke up at 5 every morning to train, spending hours in the pool perfecting her technique. Her dedication paid off when she received her acceptance letter to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. Walking through the academy gates for the first time felt surreal. The historic buildings and proud traditions surrounded her as she joined her fellow plebes for orientation. Sarah quickly realized she was one of only 36 women in a class of over 1,000 midshipmen. The weight of representing her gender became apparent from day one. Plebe year tested every limit of Sarah's physical and mental strength. The rigorous academic schedule combined with military training pushed her to breaking points she never knew existed. While some classmates struggled with the academic workload, Sarah's biggest challenges came from proving herself worthy of respect among her male peers. During her first year, several upperclassmen questioned whether women belonged at the academy. Some made crude comments about her capabilities, suggesting she was taking spots away from more deserving male candidates. Instead of being discouraged, Sarah used these challenges as motivation to excel in every area of academy life. Her breakthrough moment came during a particularly challenging seamanship exercise. The midshipmen were divided into teams to navigate through rough waters during a storm simulation. Sarah's team faced equipment failures and communication breakdowns that left them far behind the other groups. While her male teammates panicked and argued about the best course of action, Sarah calmly assessed the situation and developed a new strategy. She reorganized her team's responsibilities, implemented backup communication procedures, and guided their vessel through the treacherous waters with skill that impressed even the most skeptical instructors. When they arrived safely at their destination ahead of 2 other teams, the commanding officer publicly praised Sarah's leadership and decision-making abilities. Word of her performance spread throughout the academy. Suddenly, the same upperclassmen who had questioned her presence began seeking her advice on navigation and leadership challenges. Sarah had earned something that couldn't be given or demanded: genuine respect through proven competence and character. Academic excellence became Sarah's trademark during her remaining years at the academy. She graduated with highest honors in her naval science classes, while also excelling in engineering and international relations. Her senior thesis on modern naval warfare strategies impressed faculty members and visiting military officials. But Sarah's true passion lay in special operations. She had heard whispers about the Navy SEALs and their legendary missions around the world. The idea of serving in the most elite units fascinated her, even though women were officially barred from such roles. She began training beyond academy requirements, pushing her physical fitness to extraordinary levels. Her swimming instructor, a former SEAL named Commander Jackson, noticed her exceptional abilities in the water. Sarah could hold her breath longer than most male midshipmen and demonstrated remarkable endurance during extended training sessions. Commander Jackson began providing her with additional coaching, recognizing potential that transcended traditional gender limitations. During summer training exercises, Sarah participated in joint operations with various Special Forces units. Her performance during these exercises caught the attention of senior officers who had never seen a female midshipman display such tactical awareness and physical capability. Reports of her abilities began reaching the highest levels of naval command. The political climate regarding women in combat was slowly shifting during Sarah's final year at the academy. Progressive military leaders argued that exceptional individuals should be evaluated based on merit rather than gender. Sarah became an unofficial test case for these evolving policies, though she remained focused on her immediate goal of becoming a naval officer. Graduation day arrived with Sarah ranked third in her class of over 1,000 midshipmen. As she walked across the stage to receive her commission, she thought about the long journey from that small Maine fishing town to this moment of triumph. Her parents beamed with pride from the audience, finally understanding that their daughter's childhood dreams had evolved into something extraordinary. Her first assignment took her to a destroyer based in Norfolk, Virginia. As a newly commissioned ensign, Sarah threw herself into learning every aspect of naval operations. She volunteered for additional training opportunities and sought mentorship from experienced officers who could help her develop advanced skills. The ship's captain, Commander Rodriguez, quickly recognized Sarah's potential and began grooming her for leadership roles. She excelled during navigation watches, demonstrated exceptional skills during emergency drills, and earned the respect of enlisted sailors who initially questioned her authority. Her calm professionalism under pressure reminded many crew members of the best officers they had served under throughout their careers. During a port visit to the Middle East, Sarah had her first exposure to special operations personnel. She watched SEAL teams prepare for classified missions and felt an overwhelming desire to join their ranks. The precision, dedication, and elite nature of their work aligned perfectly with her personal goals and the high standards she had set for herself. When she approached Commander Rodriguez about pursuing special operations training, he initially discouraged the idea. The barriers facing women in such roles seemed insurmountable, and he worried about the professional consequences she might face. However, Sarah's persistence and demonstrated capabilities eventually convinced him to support her unconventional career path. The paperwork for special operations consideration required approvals from multiple levels of command. Each review board questioned whether a woman could meet the physical and mental demands of elite military units. Sarah prepared extensively for each interview, studying special operations history, tactics, and philosophy while continuing to excel in her current duties. Months of bureaucratic processes finally led to an unexpected phone call. A senior officer informed Sarah that she had been selected for a pilot program evaluating women's potential in special operations roles. The news felt like a dream come true, but she quickly realized this opportunity came with enormous pressure and expectations. The training location was classified, but Sarah knew she was about to enter a world where her every move would be scrutinized and her failures might close doors for future generations of women. As she packed her gear for the most challenging experience of her life, she reflected on the journey that had brought her to this pivotal moment. Her childhood dreams of sailing had evolved into something far greater than she had ever imagined. Now she stood on the threshold of making history, knowing that her success or failure would impact military policies for decades to come. The small-town girl from Maine was about to face the ultimate test of her character, skills, and determination. The helicopter's rotor blades created a thunderous symphony as Sarah approached the classified training facility. Through the aircraft's windows, she could see an imposing complex of buildings surrounded by challenging obstacle courses and training areas that would test every limit of human endurance. Her heart pounded with excitement and nervousness as she realized this moment would define her military career and potentially change naval history forever. Upon landing, Sarah was immediately struck by the intense atmosphere surrounding the facility. Instructors with weathered faces and steely expressions observed her every movement as she gathered her gear. The air itself seemed to carry the weight of decades of elite military training and the legends of warriors who had earned their places among America's most elite fighting forces. The first week consisted of administrative processing and initial evaluations that would determine whether Sarah could even begin the actual training program. Medical examinations pushed her body through exhaustive tests, while psychological evaluations probed her mental resilience and decision-making abilities under extreme pressure. Every assessment felt like a potential elimination point where her dreams could end before truly beginning. During these evaluations, Sarah encountered the 23 male candidates who had become her training partners and competitors throughout the program. Their initial reactions ranged from curious skepticism to outright hostility. Several candidates made no effort to hide their belief that her presence represented a political experiment that would compromise the program's standards and traditions. The lead instructor, Master Chief Petty Officer Williams, addressed the group during their first official briefing. His reputation for creating the most feared and respected warriors in military history preceded him, and his penetrating gaze seemed to evaluate each candidate's soul. When his eyes settled on Sarah, the silence in the room became almost suffocating as everyone waited to see how he would address the unprecedented situation. William spoke with the authority of someone who had dedicated his life to excellence in military service. He explained that the program would evaluate each candidate based solely on performance, regardless of background or circumstances that brought them to this point. His words carried an implicit warning that special consideration would not be given to anyone, including the program's first female participant. The physical training began with baseline fitness tests that would have challenged Olympic athletes. Sarah had prepared extensively for these challenges, but the reality exceeded her most demanding expectations. Swimming exercises in freezing water tested her endurance, while obstacle courses challenged every muscle group she possessed. The instructors pushed every candidate beyond their perceived limitations, searching for those who would crack under pressure. Sarah's swimming background proved invaluable during aquatic training phases. While several male candidates struggled with extended underwater exercises, she moved through the water with fluid efficiency that impressed even the most skeptical instructors. Her technique and endurance during these sessions began earning grudging respect from fellow candidates who had initially dismissed her capabilities. The psychological challenges proved equally demanding as the physical requirements. Sleep deprivation exercises left candidates functioning on minimal rest while completing complex tactical scenarios. Sarah discovered reserves of mental toughness she hadn't known existed, drawing on lessons learned during her academy years and childhood experiences, overcoming adversity. One particularly grueling week involved survival training in harsh wilderness conditions. Candidates were dropped in remote locations with minimal equipment and required to navigate back to base camp while avoiding capture by opposing forces. Sarah's team initially struggled with navigation and resource management until she stepped up to provide leadership during a critical moment. When her team became lost in dense forest during a night exercise, panic began spreading among the group members. Instead of succumbing to the fear affecting her teammates, Sarah calmly assessed their situation and developed a systematic approach to finding their correct path. Her methodical thinking and decisive leadership guided the team safely to their objective, earning recognition from instructors who had been observing from concealed positions. The most challenging phase of training involved combat scenarios that tested candidates' abilities to make life-and-death decisions under extreme stress. These exercises combined physical exhaustion, time pressure, and moral complexities that revealed each person's true character. Sarah's performance during these scenarios demonstrated tactical awareness and ethical reasoning that impressed even veteran instructors. During one memorable exercise, Sarah's team was tasked with rescuing hostages from a simulated terrorist compound. The scenario included multiple variables and complications designed to test their adaptability and decision-making abilities. When the original plan failed due to unexpected enemy responses, Sarah quickly developed alternative strategies that successfully completed the mission while minimizing casualties. Her ability to think clearly under pressure and maintain focus on mission objectives while considering broader consequences set her apart from many candidates who became overwhelmed by the scenario's complexity. The instructors noted her performance in detailed reports that would influence her final evaluation and potential future assignments. Midway through the program, attrition rates had eliminated nearly half of the original candidates. The demanding schedule and constant pressure proved too much for several highly qualified individuals who had excelled in previous military training. Sarah's continued presence among the remaining candidates began shifting perceptions about women's potential in elite military roles. Fellow candidates who had initially resented her participation started recognizing her legitimate contributions to team success. Her technical skills, physical capabilities, and mental toughness earned genuine respect rather than token acceptance. These evolving relationships created a more collaborative training environment that benefited everyone involved in the program. The instructors maintained their objective standards throughout the evaluation process, but several began privately acknowledging Sarah's exceptional performance. Master Chief Williams noted in his reports that her capabilities exceeded those of many male candidates who had successfully completed previous programs. Her consistency and continuous improvement demonstrated the dedication required for Special Operations Service. A critical moment arrived during the program's most challenging week, known among candidates as the ultimate test of character and capability. Sleep deprivation, physical exhaustion, and psychological pressure combined to create conditions that revealed each person's core strengths and weaknesses. Many previous candidates had failed during this phase despite excelling in earlier training. Sarah entered this week knowing that her performance would likely determine not only her own future, but also influence policies regarding women in special operations for years to come. The weight of representing her gender added pressure beyond the already enormous challenges built into the program structure. The week began with a complex mission scenario that required candidates to infiltrate enemy territory, gather intelligence, and extract safely while avoiding detection. Sarah's team faced equipment malfunctions and communication breakdowns that threatened their mission success. Her quick thinking and adaptability helped overcome these obstacles and complete their objectives. Subsequent challenges tested every skill and capability developed throughout the training program. Sarah demonstrated proficiency in weapons handling, tactical planning, emergency medical procedures, and leadership under pressure. Her performance consistently met or exceeded the standards expected of special operations personnel. The final exercise of this crucial week involved individual evaluations, where each candidate faced scenarios designed to test their personal limits and decision-making abilities. Sarah's scenario required her to balance competing priorities while maintaining operational security and mission focus. Her response demonstrated the sophisticated thinking and ethical reasoning essential for special operations service. When the week concluded, Sarah had not only survived but excelled in every major evaluation category. Her performance data compared favorably with the best candidates from previous programs, providing objective evidence of her qualifications for Special Operations Service. The instructors' reports documented her achievements in detail, creating an official record of this historic evaluation. As the remaining candidates prepared for their final weeks of training, word of Sarah's performance began circulating throughout the broader Special Operations community. Senior officers who had been skeptical about the pilot program started taking serious interest in her progress and the implications of her success. The other candidates' attitudes towards Sarah had evolved significantly since the program's beginning. Instead of viewing her as an unwelcome intrusion, they now recognized her as a legitimate warrior who had earned her place among America's elite fighters. This transformation in their perspectives reflected the broader changes her presence was creating within military culture. With only weeks remaining before graduation, Sarah knew that her greatest challenges still lay ahead. The final evaluations would determine whether she became the first woman to complete this elite training program successfully. Every exercise, every decision, and every demonstration of capability would contribute to a historic moment that could reshape military service for future generations. The pressure was immense. But Sarah had proven throughout her life that she performed best when facing seemingly impossible challenges. Her journey from a small Maine fishing town to this elite training facility had prepared her for exactly this type of moment, where determination, skill, and character would determine the outcome of her extraordinary military career. The final graduation ceremony approached with an atmosphere of unprecedented anticipation throughout the special operations community. Sarah had not only survived the most demanding military training program in the world, but had consistently ranked among the top performers in her class. Her achievement represented a historic breakthrough that would influence military policies and inspire countless women to pursue their own extraordinary dreams. Master Chief Williams gathered the remaining candidates for their final briefing, his weathered face reflecting both pride and solemnity. Of the original 30 candidates who had begun the program, only 12 remained. Sarah stood among these elite warriors, knowing that her presence represented something far greater than personal accomplishment. Her success had proven that gender barriers could be overcome through dedication, skill, and unwavering determination. The graduation ceremony itself was attended by high-ranking military officials who understood the historic significance of this moment. Sarah's parents traveled from Maine to witness their daughter make military history, their faces beaming with pride as they watched her receive recognition alongside her male counterparts. The ceremony's formality couldn't mask the emotion felt by everyone present. When Sarah's name was called to receive her completion certificate, the applause from fellow graduates and attending officials reflected genuine respect for her achievements. She had earned her place among America's most elite warriors through merit rather than accommodation, proving that excellence recognizes no gender boundaries when supported by sufficient dedication and preparation. Her first operational assignment took her to a joint special operations unit where she would apply her newly acquired skills in real-world missions, The transition from training to active service brought new challenges as she worked alongside experienced operators who were initially uncertain about integrating a woman into their tight-knit teams. Sarah's first mission involved a complex hostage rescue operation in a hostile foreign territory. The stakes were life and death real, with no room for error or hesitation. Her role required precise timing, flawless execution, and the ability to adapt quickly when unexpected complications arose during the operation. The mission's success exceeded all expectations, with Sarah's contributions proving crucial during several critical moments. Her technical expertise and calm decision-making under pressure impressed even veteran operators who had initially harbored doubts about her capabilities. Word of her performance spread quickly throughout special operations circles. Over the following months, Sarah participated in numerous high-profile missions that showcased her versatility and reliability in various operational environments. Her ability to work effectively in diverse cultural settings and her language skills proved particularly valuable during sensitive diplomatic and intelligence operations. Her reputation for excellence began attracting attention from senior military leaders who recognized her potential for broader leadership responsibilities. Sarah's combination of tactical expertise, strategic thinking, and natural leadership abilities marked her as someone destined for rapid advancement through military ranks. The promotion process moved unusually quickly, as Sarah's superiors recommended her for positions typically reserved for officers with significantly more experience. Her unique background and proven capabilities made her an ideal candidate for roles requiring both operational expertise and sophisticated leadership skills. Her advancement to lieutenant commander came with assignment to a strategic planning role that would influence special operations policies and procedures. Sarah found herself helping to design training programs and operational protocols that would benefit future generations of special operations personnel. During this period, she also became involved in the ongoing evaluation of women's roles in combat positions. Her success had opened doors for other qualified women, but careful analysis was needed to develop sustainable policies that maintained operational effectiveness while expanding opportunities. Sarah's expertise proved invaluable during congressional hearings and policy discussions regarding military personnel policies. Her first-hand experience and objective analysis helped legislators understand the practical implications of their decisions on military readiness and effectiveness. The years that followed brought steady advancement through increasingly responsible positions. Sarah commanded special operations units, led joint international missions, and developed innovative training programs that enhanced military capabilities. Her leadership style, which emphasized excellence, integrity, and teamwork, earned loyalty and respect from subordinates and superiors alike. A particularly challenging assignment involved reorganizing special operations training to incorporate lessons learned from recent global conflicts. Sarah's recommendations revolutionized selection and training processes, improving success rates while maintaining the rigorous standards essential for elite military units. Her work on international cooperation initiatives helped strengthen relationships with allied military forces around the world. Sarah's diplomatic skills and operational credibility enabled her to negotiate agreements and coordinate joint operations that enhanced global security cooperation. The promotion to captain brought command responsibilities that tested every leadership skill Sarah had developed throughout her career. Her ability to balance competing priorities while maintaining unit readiness and morale demonstrated the sophisticated thinking required for senior military leadership. Years of exceptional service and continuous leadership development culminated in Sarah's selection for flag officer rank. The promotion to Rear Admiral represented not just personal achievement, but validation of the military's evolving approach to recognizing excellence regardless of gender or background. Her Admiral promotion ceremony drew international attention as media outlets recognized the historic significance of her achievement. Sarah had become the first woman to advance from Special Operations Service to flag officer rank, breaking barriers that many had thought impossible to overcome. The moment that truly defined her legacy occurred during a routine visit to a SEAL training facility. Sarah, now wearing Admiral's stars, walked through the same type of facility where her own journey had begun years earlier. The current class of SEAL recruits, unaware of her identity and background, watched this uniformed woman enter their training space. Several recruits, displaying the bravado typical of young warriors in training, began making comments among themselves about the presence of a woman in their elite environment. One particularly bold recruit stepped forward and asked mockingly what her call sign was, expecting to embarrass this apparent outsider who had wandered into their exclusive domain. Sarah looked directly at the recruit with the calm confidence that had carried her through decades of challenges and simply replied, "Admiral." The impact of that single word was immediate and profound. The recruits realized they were not facing an intruder, but rather one of the most accomplished military leaders in American history. The silence that followed spoke volumes about the transformation Sarah's career had brought to military culture. Young warriors who had grown up in an era where women's military service was accepted as normal saw living proof that excellence and dedication could overcome any barrier. Sarah used this teaching moment to share insights about leadership, perseverance, and the importance of judging people based on their capabilities rather than their appearance or background. Her words carried special weight because they came from someone who had proven herself in every possible way. The incident quickly became legendary throughout military circles, symbolizing the complete transformation of attitudes toward women in military service. Sarah's journey from mocked outsider to respected admiral represented progress that had seemed impossible just decades earlier. Her continuing service as a flag officer involved oversight of special operations policy, international security cooperation, and the development of next-generation military capabilities.
Sarah's influence extended far beyond her immediate responsibilities as she mentored junior officers and shaped military culture through her example.
The legacy of her achievements continues inspiring young people, particularly women, to pursue challenging goals without accepting limitations imposed by others' preconceptions. Sarah's story demonstrates that determination, preparation, and character can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Today, Admiral Sarah Mitchell serves as a senior military advisor on national security issues, her expertise sought by political leaders and military officials around the world. Her office walls display commendations and awards from a distinguished career, but the most meaningful recognition comes from knowing that her success opened doors for others to follow their own extraordinary dreams. The young girl who once watched ships disappear into the main horizon had become one of the most respected military leaders in American history. Her journey proves that, with sufficient dedication and courage, it's possible to transform childhood dreams into achievements that change the world. Sarah's story continues inspiring military personnel and civilians alike, demonstrating that true leadership transcends all boundaries and that excellence is the only qualification that ultimately matters. Her legacy will influence military service and leadership development for generations to come, ensuring that future warriors are judged by their capabilities rather than their circumstances. The transformation from mockery to respect that characterized her career reflects broader changes in American society and military culture. Sarah Mitchell's achievement of admiral rank stands as testament to the power of perseverance and proof that breaking barriers benefits everyone by expanding the pool of talent available to serve our nation's security interests.